Hello, I'm Michael Leutzenbauer from the Peter Weibel Research Institute for Digital Cultures. We have our WID-Lectures today, and I'm very proud to introduce Manu Luksch and Mukul Patel. A few words to the Institute. Our research topics digital cultures in general, and we have a focus on artificial intelligence and digital life. If you are on our web page, you have the opportunity to ask questions during our live show right now. There's a button on the lower right corner. What I want to announce is that we have tomorrow we have a conference, Digital Democracy versus Digital Dictatorships, with Jamie Allen, Martin Drexler, Gisha Joost, Beth Novak, Sarah Spiekermann, Hitu Steyer, Jamie Suskind. There will also be WID-Lectures tomorrow and on Friday at the same time, the same station, with Moritz Kriegleder. He's a philosopher with the topic biology, and Christine Jauernick, she is a dancer and architect. So now I want to pass over to Manu Luksch. She is based in London, and she's a great filmmaker and artist.
Thanks, Michael, for the introduction and for having us as part of the Angewandte Festival. So I would like to use this opportunity to introduce Mukul a bit more. So we have been collaborating on and off and in different constellations over the last 20 years, and for many years under the name AmbientTV.net. So Mukul has also a degree in mathematics from Imperial College and works as a composer for stage performances. We would like to show our recent piece, Algorithm. We will show an excerpt of this short film, which came out directly from an investigation into algorithmic decision making and the ways in which this technique poses a threat onto human rights. I was part of a human rights fellowship in 2018-19 with Open Society Foundations, and Algorithm emerged out of this fellowship and was premiered last year. So why don't we look at the first 9 minutes of the film?
So I will start, just a second, I will just show your website and also our website. And now I will start the film. I forgot this beforehand. So, algorithm.
Mégapixels, mon petit photo, double flash, avant et arrière, et là, Event F3. L'élection présidentielle du Sénégal, problématique et enjeu.
Le peuple même, je suis la candidate providentielle. Y a pas meilleur que moi pour le poste présidentiel. Je suis jeune et ambitieuse, j'ai des idées nouvelles. J'imposerai une vraie conscience citoyenne. Mais le chemin du palais, je sais, est parsemé d'embûches. Et la conquête du pouvoir rime souvent avec triche. On m'a dit que dans ce domaine, je ne pourrais pas trouver mieux que vous pour réaliser le plus cher de mes vœux.
Je suis le génie de la lampe digitale aux formules algorithmiques, magique, phénoménale, détenteur de la technologie infaillible et imparable. J'alimente la démocratie de façon pérenne et durable. Bourrer les urnes, non, hors de question. Encore moins l'achat de conscience ou liquider l'opposition. Pas de violence ni de menaces, surtout pas d'intimidation. Oubliez tout ça, c'est moi la solution. On connaît tout sur tout le monde, ce qu'ils cachent, ce qu'ils montrent, les secrets les plus intimes des innocents et des monstres. Pourquoi se limiter au corps quand on peut lire dans les esprits? Les gens se confient, se confessent et déballent toute leur vie. Sur les réseaux sociaux, leur tout nouveau confident. Alertique, inoffensif, compréhensif et intelligent. Vraie mine d'or de données personnelles et de renseignements.
Ah, et sur quoi portent réellement ces renseignements?
Sur ce qu'ils mangent, ce qu'ils boivent, leurs rêves, leurs cauchemars, leurs couleurs préférées, leurs croyances, leurs espoirs.
Ah, je suis rassuré, alors parlons de mon programme.
Non, c'est sur les émotions qu'on va baser votre campagne. Et pour rendre ce marketing politique possible, tout d'abord on profile, on classifie et puis on cible grâce à nos algorithmes qui calculent et déterminent les tendances et les intentions de vote qui se décident.
jëfandikoo am xel xam samay jikko nopp aduna sama loxo ku ma ko waxoon ma weddi ko seetaan lu ma neex fu ma neex saa yu ma neexe di janoog samay xarit ñu may gis ñoom tamit boole maak ñu ma xamul woon ba ñuy doon samay nit yegg si nga si monde bu bees fi la frontière jeexe jege sori amatul lépp gaaw ñoo yëgandoo continent ba continent léegi doon nañ dëkkandoo
anam yi nga koy jëfandikoo amul solo ku koy liir dugal sama tour sama job fi ma dëkk rek man ci biir poste photo like retweet faaf di commenter ne ci net bi every night man site yëpp lay fréquenter Facebook du fees lu ma soxla laaj ko Google Twitter Instagram Snapchat monde gis ma wane wu wane waale li nga am ndax bët bi da lay dundal doon star bëgg a neex ñëpp gaay ciin ma si net bi mooy day jaay doon defar yoo xaalis bul dof Google bi sa xarit connecté say données soppali ko mané bul dof Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google bi sa xarit bul dof Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google bi sa xarit bul dof Facebook da lay jaay li si net bi du mooy day jaay doon defar yoo xaalis bul dof Google bi sa xarit connecté say données soppali ko mané bul dof Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google bi sa xarit bul dof Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google bi sa xarit bul dof.
Vous savez, mes aspirations pour ce pays sont immenses. J'ai largement les compétences pour réaliser son émergence. Progrès, modernité, croissance accélérée, économie numérisée, ma stratégie est très avancée. Je sais que je suis la candidate qu'il leur faut. Pas comme l'autre qui a zéro qualité et 1000 défauts. Il faut la décrédibiliser, la mettre à l'écart, exposer au grand jour tous les squelettes de son placard. Son élection sera la promesse de lendemain chaotique, d'invasion, de réfugiés et de catastrophes économique.
Je suis le génie de la lampe digitale aux formules algorithmiques, magiques et phénoménales. J'ai la technologie infaillible et imparable pour alimenter la démocratie de façon pérenne et durable. Alors, ordonnez et nous obéirons. Et si vous voulez, nous la salirons.
Oui, exactement. Criez-le sur tous les toits. Montrez au monde quelle désastreuse dirigeante elle fera.
Nos méthodes sont plus subtiles. Croyez-le, plus efficace et plus utile. Nous dealons la nouvelle version de la drogue de la nation. Chacun a droit au poison dès lors qu'il a la connexion. Des tonnes de méthadone collectées, bien étudiées, nous ont permis d'analyser, classifier, catégoriser, de nous renseigner sur les frayeurs et les peurs des électeurs, leurs secrets inavoués, leurs addictions, on connaît par cœur, leurs traits de personnalité, à quel point ils sont fragiles, changeant d'humeur ou versatiles, envers qui ils sont fidèles. On identifie leurs points faibles, ensuite on les cible, on alimente leur angoisse pour en faire des proies faciles.
net bi kenn moomu ko di wan liberté la weccoo wax sa xalaat tas xibaar yi yeggal la li nëbbu fa lay feeñee révolution fa lay meññee sa xaaru sagar yi lakk ci askan bi fa lay xeeñee ñi xam-xamal ñi xamul léegi ñëpp yeewu ci politique peuple bi gëm dooleem sunu njiit yi di doore tiit citoyen bu ne gendarme la internet sunu arme la kon xeex ba sa baat bokk ci doxinu réew mi yow war na la
net bi yam na njàngi right net bi yam na fall right dajee fak ñoo xamul right jàmm sant ak ñoom right yaakaar yeetal li dugg sa man algorithme yaa ngi calculé di sukkandiku ci say bëgg jàpp say xalaat di manipulé wan na li ngay seet di la seet loo ko yeetal ba nga bàyyi seetantal dund la gis-gis yu ñu rog sa yos te du ñam nga topp ni perrantal nel ki nekkul net bi nekkul nëbbul net bi nëttul nel ki nëxul buñ ko nëxal xel mi nëttul
li si net bi du maye day jaay doon defar yow xaalis bul dof Google du sa xarit collecté say données soppali ko monnaie bul off Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google du sa xarit bul off Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google du sa xarit bul off Facebook da lay jaay li si net bi du maye day jaay doon defar yow xaalis bul dof Google du sa xarit collecté say données soppali ko monnaie bul off Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google du sa xarit bul off Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google du sa xarit bul off Facebook da lay jaay li si net bi du maye day jaay doon defar yow xaalis bul dof Google du sa xarit collecté say données soppali ko monnaie bul off Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google du sa xarit bul off Facebook da lay jaay bul dof Google du sa xarit bul off Facebook da lay jaay
mo jamonoy tey xale yi ci réew mi yéen lay waxal waaw ku ne lu ne ku ne ngi ci lu tax ku nekk war ngay demal sa bopp di xalaatal sa bopp tey defal sa bopp ku ci nekk ci yéen xoolal nay defal boppam tey jëmal boppam et tey dëggal boppam et di defal boppam tey xalaatal sa bopp foo jëm way samba lu ne ku ne ngi ci lu tax dëggalal sa bopp moo te dëggal sa bopp osel yow osel
Okay, this was a bit of a harsh cut, but we want to talk about the video and also your art work in general. You're very interested in new technology, as far as I know. And for our institute, interesting because you're also interested in this data science. and artificial intelligence field. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, very much. Yeah, I mean, I think well, the AI field, there's so much to say about that, because in the wider public, amongst the wider public, this is seen as ubiquitously a good thing. You know, there's very little critique about it. I mean, what can be bad about intelligence? But people don't realize that this idea of intelligence, it's just at the moment is very much a cloak for just very specific objectives of a certain algorithm or a certain company, and these objectives may be in line with what our individual interests or our collective interests, but this is not necessary. This only happens to be the case sometimes, and we need to really look carefully at what it is that these systems are trying to optimize and trying to maximize.
Yeah, I would say that this question is really the red thread that goes throughout our joint or also independent projects of the last couple of decades. We were always suspicious of the promises of technology and trying to visualize, express, narrate, put forward as a question what's the hidden agenda, what's the what are the effects of these technologies on us that are not being promoted in the advertisement or in the pamphlet. So trying to visualize dangers through data, or trying to sonify or to find stories around that was always a kind of core challenge of our works, also as AmbientTV.net, since we always felt, data doesn't smell badly, you can't feel it, it doesn't make you shiver, freeze, you can't even really see it unless, you look at kind of who looks at code, or so really to invite more people into this debate that's relevant for everyone, and I guess that gets more and more acknowledged these days. That was always one of the motivations behind our work. And so this is also why we seem to work in so many different genres, from performance to film to music, because actually it's always about our relationship with data.
Let me ask you, you started to work with this technology data topic quite early. But meanwhile, we had a really famous impact with the Brexit and with this Cambridge Analytica company. And now that you're sitting in London, how was this for you? Did you did it influence your work? Was there a new approach now that it happened? Or?
So Algorithm, this film is of course a direct response and reflection on what happened in the run-up to the Brexit referendum. I have to say I was really not paying much attention at the time, because it was just so beyond my imagination. We're speaking about 2016, right? When the referendum was coming up, I could just not picture that the vote would result in a vote for leaving the European Union. And so really the debates that I joined and that were probably even, hotter and more passionate than the debates in the run-up, those I only joined after the fact, when there was still the question, how can we even do that? And how, like as a country, or how can the UK, will they pull back? So that's really interesting. It's a question that's very complex. And as a friend of ours who's an economist pointed out, since you can't really model an opposite
counterfactual.
Yeah, counterfactual, you will never be able to value one prediction, you know, pro-Brexit against another prediction, what's better for the country. So I was quite puzzled, how can you even bring such a huge question forward to people who, you know, who are busy with all sorts of other things in daily life? How can we model and predict if even a very well-known economist says it's beyond of what they would be able to do? So,
I mean, the other complicating factor, of course, is that some of this was constructed as a local Conservative Party fight. It was, I think, it was an accidental victory, which was seized upon after the fact. I don't think that they intended. I don't think Boris Johnson actually even wanted to win. It was pretty clear on the day that they won that he was shocked that they won. I mean, there was a kind of a perfect storm of like disinformation and disconnection between the government and the vast majority of the population who they'd forgotten about, and also, but also this use of micro-targeting. I mean, this is something that we're not very aware of. We're not aware of our, as individuals, we're very unaware of our cognitive biases. We think that we're autonomous and rational. This is what's necessary to function in a democratic society. We make good decisions based on good information. Yet, actually, it turns out we're very poor at judging things. We're very poor at thinking statistically. We don't judge things very well in the future. So even with good information, it's hard for us to make decisions. And then when you have information being manipulated on a large scale, or people being nudged and influenced on a large scale, then you really have problems. And that's the situation we're in now, and that's what we're trying to articulate a little bit, and through things like algorithm, and get a discussion going about it.
Time is running, and I would like to go on with this.
Yes, you really asked the question that needs like 4 hours of talking time and a schnitzel afterwards to deal
Absolutely.
with.
But you prepared another film for another impact, the virus, the lockdowns. You want to say a few words?
Yes,
and, I think we have to say goodbye, because we will end, and our lecture will end with this video.
Short and sweet. So the next film that we will show, its title is Contagious Whisper, takes this question of dysfunctional information environment a step further. So the film resulted out of a commission that invited to reflect on a post-corona future, and that was initiated by the Austrian representations in the States. So an Austrian artist would collaborate with an American artist. I collaborated with Scott Kildall on this short film, and we envisage a time when our information environment that had already been completely destroyed and made dysfunctional through fake news and conspiracy theories and all these mechanisms that we just hinted at during our debate, is replaced by a kind of a tamed virus. But I hand over and let Symbia, Nano, and Durango in the film tell you that story.
Thank you. And goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Is it working? Any news?
Not yet, but I sense a beginning. Durango's message should only need about 2 days to arrive here.
That fast?
In the hyper age, messaging was almost instant.
Really? What happened?
Back then, people lived out their whole lives on data networks. But some groups figured out how to make huge profits by flooding the networks with fake news and conspiracy theories. A global infodemic broke loose.
And this ended the hyper age?
Yes, because no one could tell lies from facts. No one trusted anyone. Imagine, not even at work. Transport, banks, hospitals, everything collapsed. The hyper age fell silent.
Dear Symbia, I accept the mission to find the hidden agent. The gasoline cars, they're long gone, so I'll find another way to get to the desert. I don't know exactly what or who I'm looking for. Something in nature. Someone. I'll know it when I see it. Now I'll have to evade the surveillance of the corpse. The power grid, it collapsed with the infodemic, so it's just spies and binoculars these days. Always on the move. Our rebel band of slow speeders have no home. I won't fail you. Your friend, Durango.
But how do you communicate with the slow speeder so easily?
Well, what do you know that spreads like wildfire between people?
A virus?
Exactly. What I'm engineering here is a crazily contagious virus that infects people with information. Viruses carry quite a bit of genetic code anyway. I've figured out how to splice a message into the code so that anyone who catches it gets infected by the idea it carries.
It looks beautiful. Look at those spikes. I get it. It's a viral communication network.
Exactly, but it needs more security. The Memo virus infects everyone, and I can't figure out how to keep some messages secret so that they can only reach people who we trust. Only Durango can help us with this.
Dear Symbia, today I finally got my solar trolley working, and soon we will depart. Vestiges, traces, and leftovers. The tattered remains of our infrastructure make me yearn for a better time, but they will guide me to a faraway place. Your virus is incredible. What an amazing way to communicate. Despite the ruin, I now have hope for a future salvation, a better life for everyone. Is the viral communication network safe? I feel the corps are listening in. I must find the hidden agent soon. Your friend, Durango.
Who's he looking for? What's the hidden agent?
A hidden agent? It's an expert for cryptography. If the Memo virus code could be modified to release secret information only to human hosts with a specific DNA, then we would have a perfectly secure and fast communication network. We just need to find an agent.
Why don't you find one then? What's stopping you?
They are not easy to find. There's just a few of them. Durango is looking for one. It's a dangerous quest.
Dear Symbia, we are always on the move. The corps are constantly in pursuit. I have been infecting all of our fellow slow speeders with your virus. It's like a portal to another dimension. everyone embraces the new communication. Electronics meant speed, reliability, and ultimately control in the hands of the few. What amazes me is the viral communication network cannot be centralized. Today I saw several signs of the hidden agent. Tomorrow gives me hope. Your friend, Durango.
Sarcovirus, parvovirus, adeno and anilovirus, myovirus, cyphovirus, human papillomavirus, thymovirus, comovirus, noda and piconavirus, plasmavirus, metavirus, simians tried them all. Filovirus, inovirus, nano and nyamivirus, alpha and omega virus, simi tried them all. Till finally the memovirus will unite us. Modified it and released it to the world.
Dear Symbia, I found the hidden agent at last, in the middle of nowhere. I'm transmitting their DNA codes through empty frames. Domination is extinct, and extinction leaves its own kind of residue. Death is never pretty. This will be my final message to you, as the prototype of the viral communication network has now served its purpose. Let's hope this is the true end of the hyper age. Your friend always, Durango.